Now, after that dinner at the White House, lefty luminary Bill Maher is doing his best to redeem himself with the loony mob who are outraged that this ardent Trump hater would break bread with the president and then give an honest appraisal of what happened during that dinner. But as Maher said, he was not going to stop criticising the president or the VP, it seems.
We have a constitutional crisis. Today, Melania had a jacket that said, "I'm starting to care." And not just Trump, J.D. Vance, our vice president, he's in Rome. You know, he's a convert, a recent convert to Catholicism. I know he's married to a Hindu, goes right to the Catholics. I don't know what that says. He converted to Catholicism because he heard priests like little pricks. So.
I'm not sure that's going to be enough to stop the hit pieces and the mockery from the likes of Larry David, who lampooned Maher with this piece in the New York Times entitled "My Dinner with Adolf." In it, David wrote, "Here I was, prepared to meet Hitler, the one I'd seen and heard, the public Hitler, but this private Hitler was a completely different animal." Joining me now is Newsweek Senior Editor-at-Large and Article 3 Project Senior Counsel Josh Hammer. Josh, how disappointing to see this unfunny mess from a comedy great like Larry David.
Well, I wish I could say it were surprising, Rita. It's not even remotely surprising. Larry David has one of the most notorious cases of Trump derangement syndrome from sea to signing C here in the United States. You know, it's worth noting that since October 7th and the horrific tragedy in Israel there, so Jerry Seinfeld and Larry David co-created Seinfeld, the sitcom here back in the 1990s there. Jerry Seinfeld, to his credit, has actually been very outspoken against the raging pro-Hamas mobs. Larry David has not said a single word. And this is a man who, it's actually much more than just that one issue for him. You know, I heard once upon a time a story from Alan Dershowitz, of all people, another man who has heterodox political views. But apparently Larry David saw Alan Dershowitz at a supermarket or a local convenience store in Martha's Vineyard, where I guess they both have a house. And Larry David just started yelling at the top of his lungs at Alan Dershowitz for having the temerity to represent Donald Trump in his impeachment proceedings back in 2020 there. I mean, Larry David, this is not a fun thing for me to say. I actually love Curb Your Enthusiasm. I think Larry David genuinely is a funny person when he wants to be a funny person. But as is too often the case, whether it's Larry David, whether it's Robert De Niro, whether it's any of these other celebrities who are very good when they stay in their lane, but they have a very nasty habit of getting outside their lane. Frankly, Rita, between me and you, I happen to be a huge proponent of the old Laura Ingraham line, which was said in a very different context about LeBron James, of shut up and dribble. So in this particular case, to Larry David, I would say, shut up and just tell some funny jokes.
He's almost become a caricature of his character on Curb Your Enthusiasm. And I've got to say, I loved Curb so much, but the last couple of seasons, it did kind of jump the shark a little bit. Still had a few good moments, but there's just a lot of weaker moments. Well, you know what? No one can be in peak condition throughout their comedy career, and I guess Larry David is an example of that. But that piece was just so pitiful, Josh. I mean, and so cliched to go to a Hitler analogy. Really? I mean, like, it's just so old and I don't know. I thought he was above that.